You're simply the best.
Christy Clark is the only candidate who had to get back into politics for this race because she's been a radio talk show host and a political commentator for the past 5 years. But politics has always been in her blood. Her father was in provincial politics and she worked on some of his campaigns. Keith Baldry managed to get a few more insights from Clark, but considering the venue for the interview, it was understandably sometimes hard for her to focus.
Uh-oh, there they are, Hamish. They're working out already.
Forget campaigning in politics. Nothing takes precedence over a hockey game involving Christy Clark's son, Hamish. Although fellow hockey parents can't resist a bit of political chit-chat this day.
And that's the problem, right, is that you don't want to entrench that view, right? So.
But even trying to interview a hockey mom has its challenges.
Okay. Uh-oh, breakaway. Hold on a second. Skate, 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 skate! Good save. Oh, what a save. Okay.
And she has some words of wisdom for hockey parents.
You ready? Do not let your child be a goalie. That's my advice.
Hockey aside, Christy Clark has been around politics a long time. She was a student activist at one point, heckling Brian Mulroney in the 1980s and becoming an MLA in 1996. Her political pedigree comes naturally. Her father ran for office himself for the old BC Liberal Party.
His message to all four of us was politics makes a difference, and that if you get involved, you can help change the world around you, and it's important to change the world around you. It's important to step up and do something to make the world better rather than just complaining about it.
And her father's influence comes through to this day.
We also learn to talk and we learn to listen as well from my dad, because he was a school counselor and that's what he did for a living.
Now this will come as no shock. As a kid, she was known for not being quiet.
I think my teachers would probably have described me that way too. I worked hard, but I was very social. I would say I was a social little girl.
On the premise that a person's movie choices help define who they are, here's hers.
It's a Wonderful Life, The Sound of Music, The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Okay, what kind of strengths would she bring to the Premier's office?
I think I have a strong strength as a listener, for sure. I like to engage with people and find out what's going on for them. I think I would say that's a strength.
Some more thing you need to know about her.
I like a good cold glass of beer.
Besides cold beer, hockey's a favorite as well, especially when Hamish pulls off one of his big saves.
Get it out, get it out, get it out. All right, go Matthew! Okay.
Always the parents coaching from the sidelines, no matter what the sport is. Squire Barnes also sat down with Christy Clark, asking her some of the same questions that he's asked the other three contenders. And among other things, we learned that Premier Christy Clark would take British Columbians to the polls before the next set election date.
It seems in politics it's very in now to be an outsider, but you're an outsider kind of, because you were quite inside at one time in this same government.
That's true.
So explain how you're now an outsider.
Okay.
Even though you were an insider.
You're right, because in the first term of the government, I mean, I was there for 5 years trying to chase the NDP out of office, and then I was there for the first 4 years of the government. I was vice chair of Treasury Board, I was deputy premier, I was minister of education, and then minister of children and families. So yeah, you're right. I mean, I was on the inside. But those 5 years that I've spent on the outside, listening to people for a living, and I think that's a significant part of it, is I wasn't just doing any job. I was actually engaged in listening to people for a living. I learned what it felt like to have government do things to you instead of, being in government feel like you're doing it to other people. It really changed my perspective about these things.
Now, the last two times you've tried for politics, it was the mayor of Vancouver and the premiership. So it's like, I want to be in charge, otherwise, forget it, I'm not doing this.
That's not true. That's not true. I mean, the thing is that I quit. I had a great job in politics for 2 full terms. I served in both. And then, I was persuaded to run for mayor of Vancouver when I didn't live in Vancouver. I'm not sure that was
Yeah, that's an odd thing.
Yeah.
Who did that to you?
Well, I mean, you do it yourself. You're the one that makes the decision.
But you almost won, did you not?
Yeah, by 64 votes. I almost got that nomination. But you know what? I'm glad I didn't. because I think it was good for me to have those 5 years out of politics. And you know what happened after that? I ran for mayor and lost in September, October in 2005. And then my mom got sick with a brain tumor right after that. And in those months before she died in March of 2006, she came and lived with me for the last months of her life, and I cared for her. It was the greatest gift. I swear, the greatest gift she ever gave me was letting me look after her as she was dying, and I would never have had that opportunity if I'd been elected mayor.
So losing worked out.
It really did, yeah.
If you win, would you keep the election date the way it is right now, or would you move it up?
The election date has to be in 2013 according to the fixed election date legislation. If I win, I will have to be elected in a by-election. And then the NDP is going to have to get their leader. I mean, we don't want to call a general election before they have a leader. I don't think that's kind of dirty pool, right? And then the HST referendum is going to be at the end of June. There's a lot of things that have to happen. So it wouldn't be a quick snap election, that's for sure. But we would do it before 2013. And
so 2012?
Could be. And you know what? If that's when it is, we'll set the next fixed election date from when it's called.
You're simply